guess let's say ladies first.
Okay, cool.
Tell me
So
about
yeah,
you.
I'm Omie. I'm I work in PR, but I'm also a swim teacher, and I volunteer for Black Swim Association and Pride in Water. So looking at both like the experiences and participation rates of like black and mixed black people in swimming, and also people in the LGBT community. And yeah, if I had to say what excites me about being black in swimming is, I think lockdown has presented like a really good opportunity for people just to talk and to
Yeah,
meet. And I think that extends beyond swimming. Obviously, like stuff like this is just great. But I think it's opened the space to have real conversation about the lack of diversity in sport and the barriers that exist. And even though we can't even get into a pool at the minute, it it seems like a lot has been done. And I'm just, yeah, really excited for the potential really of this year.
what was it? Why swimming? Like, just what was the interest there? How did you get involved in it?
I swam from, I've swum since a baby. Really, she can like do a tiny bit of breaststroke, heads up, but she was never able to swim. So
Okay.
my mum, she's like, yeah, black British, whereas my dad's, he's white British and he can swim really well. So my mum was just like, right, all three of you, all of her kids, she was like, you have to learn to swim, and like that's a non-negotiable. You can, we've always had our own other interests, but that was like learn to swim or else. And then when I was doing A levels, I became a lifeguard. It was like the best way to earn money at the time. Then I
How
became,
did you find being a lifeguard? Because I did it, and I'll share my experience after. How did you find it?
okay, I loved it at the beginning. I thought it was so glamorous. And then I did 4 seasons at like a Lido, and that was fun because it was like
Yeah.
middle of the summer. You're just sitting outside on really hot days. It gets really busy. But I did it for nearly 7 years on and off, and I just was, in the end, I was just like, I can't do this anymore.
That
Like
was a
just
lot.
sitting on that chair, and then it's just like you sit on the chair and then you clean the rest of the time. Um, so I just yeah, and that's when I was like, I need to become a swim teacher because I really enjoy like working with kids and working with people. And that was, and then when I became a swim teacher, I was like, I just love it so much. I just love teaching people. So yeah, not going back to lifeguarding now.
That was a lot longer than I did it for. I remember I became a lifeguard right when I was in college as well, and I first got experience with it. I think when I did work experience, and I was like, lifeguarding, that's quite cool. Did all the training, did it, and then actually, I found it so boring. Like I worked in a leisure center, and it was literally like in the mornings it was cool because you get the school kids would come in. Then it'd be quiet for like most of the afternoon, and then you might get the evening swimmers, and there might be an after school club, that swimming club as well. But it was just so boring most of the
Yeah,
days. I
the
used to
middle of the
find
day.
myself just sitting there sometimes, and you're so warm and cozy. You just be like try not to nod off.
That is the worst thing as well. Like if you go in when you're tired, you're
Yeah,
sat there, it's really warm, 30 degrees, right? And you're just like, yeah, just want to sleep.
yeah, I did get in trouble once. But yeah, no, how rude of me not to say who I am. I'm Chevy Green, currently program director for a new charity called ACE, which is formed at a Surrey County Cricket Club. And I previously worked for Surrey for 7 years. So still kind of through the program, we're based at the Oval, based in Surrey, but in Lambeth. So yeah, that's me. But yeah, no, I just had to share that experience because lifeguarding, I used to think it was fun. I was like, this is so cool to do all the training, and then actually
Then
when I
it's
was
not.
in it, yeah, it's early starts, and like you said, there's loads of cleaning. How many times do you need to test the pool as well? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, it's actually like yeah, people think it is this like Baywatch thing, and it's not. But made lots of friends, made money, so it was good. But yeah, how did you get into cricket then? Because
the same, really, like similar to you, family. Cricket was very much a family thing. Used to go with my dad. Dad played, uncles played, grandparent played. It was all cricket was a big thing. Me and my brother used to go and watch my dad play most weekends, and yeah, just ever since I've been a kid, I've been playing, and I was quite successful a little bit. In my junior ages, played for Surrey. on and off. More should have been on more than off, but there's a few issues there. And then yeah, just I got to a point where when I went to university and going through that journey, I wanted to be either a teacher or work in high performance coaching. Those were two of my passions, just all the way through growing up, even in school. I've always been sporty and stuff, so that was where I wanted to go, teaching or coaching. Left uni, dabbled in a bit of teaching, started off like as a TA, just trying to get a bit of experience on the job stuff. And then I was quite fortunate at the school I worked in, they knew of my coaching background through cricket and football. And then they encouraged me to do some mentoring and then PE teaching. So I was unqualified PE teacher for 3 years. And then right about the time I approached the head teacher to say, look, I've been doing this unqualified PE teaching, so I could teach anything from year 7 to year 9. And it was great. It was fun. But then I was like, you know what? I've been doing this. I want to actually become a teacher, become qualified. Spoke to the head teacher about it, and kind of just fobbed me off a little bit. But at that same time, there was a job going full-time coach at Surrey. So once he kind of fobbed me off with a bit of a politician's answer, I just applied for the job at Surrey. There was three full-time jobs going, and I was like, if I don't get one of these 3 jobs, then cricket is we'll put that on the back burner, and then maybe I will go and actually focus on the teaching. But I got one of the jobs, and then yes, just over 7 years later, I went from a coach to officer to manager to now director. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey. But cricket is a passion of mine. But to be fair, sport is a passion. If it wasn't cricket, I could happily work in any other sport, as long as engaging young people and older people and just motivating them and empowering them to be as best as they can. That's all I really want to do. So yeah, it doesn't have to be cricket. It's cricket for now, but who knows what the future.
Yeah, that's actually what I found. I think is like with swimming, I've definitely just loved making those relationships, building a rapport, and like especially for people that don't enjoy swimming at the beginning, just being able to like make people comfortable, make people enthusiastic, and just like, I don't know, creating that nice environment. And that, I think that's what really pushes me, is like knowing how much people can enjoy it, and also like being able to share your enjoyment with other people, I think is like the biggest motivating factor.
Yeah, it's worthwhile, it's rewarding, to just seeing the progress in some of the people we work with, just seeing where they started and seeing where they can get to and go. And everyone moves at different rates, and just seeing the beauty within that, the perseverance, and just knowing that you've been a part of helping change someone's life. And you're doing a big, swimming is a life skill, so you never know when you're on holiday, you can see someone drowning or what have you. You might not be a lifeguard, but you could swim out, help them, and put them away. So swimming is a great skill. And what was the focus for you to get involved in the Black Swimming Association?
So I guess a lot of it came from, like, I started my own personal project really, and to be honest, I feel like a lot of this came out of my hours sat down on the lifeguard chair. Sometimes you just think because you've got nothing else to do.
You got a lot of time. You got a lot of
Yeah,
time
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, so I always knew like swimming is so like not diverse, and you hear all this stuff like black kids can't swim or whatever, and I was always aware of it. But I think when I was lifeguarding, I was like hyper aware of it. And I also, I used to lifeguard in Kensington, and you see some of the kids from the most affluent areas coming for school swimming.
Yeah.
All of them can swim. They're doing lengths, they're doing relays, they're doing this, whatever. You see the same age group from like, a less affluent school, and the majority of them can't swim. And those ones that can't swim, they're just completely left. Like they get, given a ball, and that's like their national curriculum swimming lessons. And I find it such a shame that so many leave school without knowing how to swim that 25 meters, or they just
I
don't
find
have any.
that because I went to school, and that we had to, like in primary school, we had swimming lessons that would go out to school, like to to swim. So I don't know, I just thought a lot of schools was doing that. But I don't know the focus. Like when I actually look back on it, actually how much did, if you was a strong swimmer, you got looked after. But if you wasn't, how much did you get taught to swim? But it's just surprising me that there's not, just not more black people swimming, and I always hate that. Always hate that saying. What is it? Black people can't swim. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm from the Caribbean, and that's surrounded by water, and
Yeah.
literally all the people I know can swim. Like they go to the beach all the time, or they're there. Like of course they can swim. So that stereotype does annoy me. I guess in the UK it's probably different, but I guess what you say there plays a part, maybe financially.
Yeah.
Not being able to afford it, but I think it does go back to the parents as well. Like my dad can swim, but my mum can swim a bit, but she was never big on swimming and would never want to take us, me and my siblings swimming. So I guess that might play a part where maybe there's more just, I don't know, in the black community, um, parents of a certain generation, and before that never took,
Yeah.
and they encourage their kids to swim, that which has had a knock-on effect now.
Definitely, and I do think that's the thing as well. Like, if you have no exposure to swimming, right, and your only ever exposure is school swimming lessons, and then you end up sitting in the, at the end of the pool, and then you go to freezing cold changing room, like, you're never really going to want to learn to swim.
Yeah,
And I started teaching actually loads of my friends, like adult friends who just never learn, and it was just like, yeah, my
that's
parents didn't
surreal.
swim, yeah, and all they had like really bad experiences as well. So I started to look at, there's so many different reasons. There's like, yeah, family, money, cultural reasons for some people that can't go into like mixed swimming pools,
Yeah, yeah.
provisions of like actual times, so much stuff, hair care, etc. So yeah, I started actually looking at that myself, just collecting stories, talking to people, and then like Black Swim Association was founded, and I was like, oh my god, this is like basically, yeah, yeah, it was just perfect. So I spoke to them and I started working with them, and we're at a really interesting stage because it's very new. It's a lot of stuff's happening, a lot of people want to talk to us, and like I guess it's kind of on the agenda now at the minute. Do you know what I mean? Like diversity,
Yeah,
rightly or
yeah.
wrongly, is
Right
completely
now.
on the agenda. So it's sort of like very small team, you know, dealing with lots of stuff, but it's definitely like very exciting. So
I can relate to that. I guess like with cricket as well, some of those same barriers are there. With the pricing, cricket equipment isn't cheap. The space to play appropriately, but also going back to what we were talking about the parents as well. With cricket, cricket has especially in the Caribbean community, a big history. From the Windrush generation coming over, and there's a lot of black cricketers, playing the game. Mostly male back in the day, and it's still male dominated, but we're trying to get more women and girls into the game as we can. And for me, especially within the black community, that's one of my tasks that we need to do. And my colleague Ebony, who's the chairwoman, she's the first black woman to play cricket for England. So it's very much on our radar. But there's quite a few people in cricket of a certain generation, that from the black community, that say, they blame the ECB, which is the governing body, the England Cricket Board. But also I say, yeah, there is a negligence there, that they played a part, that they saw a decline, like in the professional games, just a few years ago, from 75% down to it's like 1% now. And the part that on the recreational level, the numbers pretty much the same. And that's a massive drop off for what it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. So there was negligence there. But what I do say to some of the people that moan about it is, well, your children, are a similar age to me. And they've never played. So you're working within cricket yourself, or being involved, or you played the game, but how comes you never encouraged your children to play? So also, pull it back sometimes on the community, and some individuals who like to point the finger. And yes, like, I point the finger at the ECB a lot, and their negligence of how they let the fan base of the black community go, playing base go, but also there's people within cricket themselves who question the same people, but actually what have they done to come along? So yeah, it's some of those similar barriers that we face. And yeah, you're right, like now everything everything is, the past year or so, everything is heightened, and I get inundated with different requests for um data that we contain, and can they come and film our kids, and can they do this, and we get some good coverage here and there. But if we're a new charity, and sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming, like it is nice to get, but at the same time I also do question, the cynic in me does question how genuine is it,
yeah,
because for all these years when people are trying to do stuff within, for the black community, There wasn't much acceptance of going in, and then because of the Black Lives Matter and what the George Floyd stuff that triggered it, and just then the snowball effect, and all industries were getting questioned about what are we doing, what have we done, and it's not I'm not a big fan of the word BAME.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of it at all. I just think there's too many people. You can't group too many people into one. So when you do iron it down and say, well, black, mixed race, like what have you done for that? And it's like, you can't answer it. So, for me within my field, I'm just looking forward to just pushing my agendas through for cricket, and trying to diversify and change the landscape of the game over here. But yeah, it is tricky, and yeah, I don't want to dwell too much on on cricket for longer. We'll get back to swimming. But for you, so you volunteer. So what is it like for you as a volunteer, opposed to then you working full time? Is your full time job is it similar? I know you said you work for PR. There's many parts of PR. But I don't know. How do you juggle the both?
Not very well at the minute. Let's just say that. To be fair, I am like in a stage where I'm like transitioning now to a new role, which is like basically in campaign and activism charity. So more, which is actually really good actually, because like a lot of fundraising stuff, small grants, like basically stuff I'm like I need to use for Black Swim Association. But yeah, it's it's one of those things of like, when you do like community work outside of full-time work, it is hard. And at the minute I'm like, it's not sustainable. I've got like a few more months left of me, then I'm just gonna conk out. So it is, we've also become more conscious, like as a association, of like asking for fees, and like, because a lot of stuff you do is when people ask, people do need us or want us, and like we have voices that they don't have in their organizations. But sometimes we're recalling stuff that's not very nice, that can be like emotionally draining or stuff. And as an individual as well, and both in the organization, it's definitely become a thing of like me, especially as an individual, learning my boundaries of what I'm going to say yes to and what I'm not. And yeah, I don't know, just trying to like do everything as sustainably as possible, because it's hard sometimes. But
no, of course it has to be sustainable. It has to be. It can't. You can't prolong the longevity of what you want to do if it's not. And be bold and bullish where you can, and don't feel afraid that you can't ask those questions. And if people want to request certain things for you, and you're like, well, yeah, I haven't really got the time, or I haven't got this. If you want to monetize it and put that back into your also association, why not? Like, what I mean is, the thing is, what I've realized is we've been, like, sport is powerful. It plays a big part in society, but we have a trump card. I say trump card, but yeah, I say we have the power in certain respects, that we do have something that they want, and because of it, and it's like we need to use. I know, like I said before, is it genuine or not? But we need to use the momentum in certain places to keep pushing those boundaries and pushing what we can for Black people in our respective areas. And don't feel like you can't ask for, like, to monetize what you're doing, because it's there's nothing wrong with that, because they would do, if it was the other way around, they would.
Yeah, exactly. That's one thing I'm learning now. I'm like, is people will try to take the mix sometimes, but you just gotta. And the thing is, like, the more you can give back to like these community, like that, especially like having lots of plans after lockdown of like teaching, reducing costs, having like making it as accessible as possible. That does require money. So yeah.
So in terms of like the association, how are you guys engaging over the lockdowns and stuff like that?
So I guess a lot of stuff at the minute is like building partnerships and advocacy work. So currently at the minute, the main like spokespeople are the co-founders. So they're attending lots of events, swimming events, sports events, trying to feed into research. I guess a lot of the thing is this focus on research, and like, having some more data as to what barriers are, what they exist. One of the co-founders, Ed, he's just he's bringing out his second film, which is like Blacks Can't Swim, the sequel. which actually the first one was really good. And then we have Alice, the other co-founder, who's, you know, she's a Team GB swimmer, so she's just training, and she's the one really that gets a lot of media requests because she's like the only black female GB swimmer, which is, you know, but yeah, I guess a lot of it then feeds in and just planning stuff like after lockdown, so swim clinics, International Water Safety Day, Water Safety Week, like planning for that. But yeah, I guess it's like definitely at the stage it's very newly founded, and it's just sort of like figuring out what we should be doing. Again, it's this thing of like, you know, scale, like whilst when we scale up, like where should we invest our energy and stuff. But it's been a lot of opportunities have come out, which has just been great, which I didn't expect. And there were a great bunch of people. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, no, similar. So we're like very very new charity. Like, you know, literally we launched the program last year January, through Surrey, and then did our open days and trials in March. Selected our players, and then hit by the massive lockdown. Got back down to, but through that period, we got approached by Sport England to fund what we was doing, and then everything got kind of approved, and you know, September we got back and did some sessions like towards the end of the summer, and September when we was allowed out, we did some more games and training sessions, and yeah, within that period, you know, the funding came through from Sport England, and they gave us a year to set up as an independent charity, and we literally set it up within 8 weeks. So we launched at the end of Black History Month, end of October. I was still in my previous role, so I personally only officially started full time in this role only the 1st of December. Had the training sessions. You know, December was good. We had a good month, and then yeah, we launched in Birmingham as well in January, and then yeah, this lockdown has just kind of delayed things. So it's just a lot of meetings and plannings and looking ahead. We've got three job roles out at the moment that close next week, to get 2 full-time coaches and an administrator. So yeah, we're still planning. Like for me, once we're allowed to get out, I just want to hit the ground running and move. So we've had some good meetings with other counties across the country. So we had certain targets that we want to spread ourselves in 2 or 3 years. But I guess with everything, like we said, with the using the momentum, a lot of, you know, people asking questions what they're doing for the black community. So, you know, it's an easy sell. But yeah, just looking at other ways we can get more resourcing, more funding, you know, to help and upskill our young individuals that we're working with and get some more.
That's just, yeah, that's like, it seems like you've been doing a lot. But yeah, yeah, I guess then like for the next year, and like, you know, let's say lockdown does finish and we can like move out. I'm just praying. But anyway, like, yeah, what excites you, I guess, about being yourself, but being black and like sport, and like what do you see happening?
Yeah, what excites me, I guess for me, with my new position as like director, I don't really have to answer to anyone. So before I would have ideas, and you know, it might get shut down here or there, or you know, it might get delayed. So now I'm just, a lot of the time my glass is half full, so I'm open to most ideas. And you know, even if there was a random, how could we bring cricket and swimming together in some sort of, I don't know, cricket swim thing. I don't know. But I would be open to like, well, let's at least try. You know, let's go to the leisure centre or Lido. Let's try. What does swimming and cricket look like together? You know, yeah. I mean, you know, they do volleyball and all those other stuff. Like, could cricket work? You know, so like, I'm just excited to just have the freedom and building a new team. You know, building a new team and shaping what that looks like, and just infusing and upskilling more people from the black community to play cricket, take up cricket, be a fan of cricket. And just leave some lasting memories. Because I think whatever we do, I know that will excite people, and if anyone's excited and has a small interest, we'll be able to make them, you know, come along that way. And yeah, just looking forward to spreading. Like I said, you know, we launched in Birmingham, so looking to see how the Birmingham team operates and how that goes there, and we have some interest from other parts of the country. So yeah, just finalizing that and just spreading the awareness of the ACE program. What about yourself?
Yeah, I'd say similar, just I guess excited to get the ground running. I think a lot of good conversations have been happening, and you know, a lot of stuff is just waiting for everything to open again. but yeah, I guess I'm also just really excited to have conversations like this, speak to other people doing other stuff in, like, you know, areas of sport that I know nothing about. Like cricket, I know nothing about cricket. So even this has been like really, you know, it's just nice to see what people are doing, and just building those connections. And yeah, just trying to reach out to, you know, kids especially, you know, advocate a bit more, try to put pressure on people, get the agenda going. I guess like massive ambitions, but yeah, just
Yeah, but you can get there. But, you know,
yeah,
you got to set them and just smash them. You know what I mean? It's, you know, no one can hold you back and from doing what you want to do. Just try it. If it works, it works. If it
definitely.
doesn't, then try it another way. But yeah, don't let anyone to like put your idea down or whatever you want to do. You know, just keep going. I don't know much about swimming. You know, myself, I can swim. You know, I know that to be a professional athlete in swimming, it's a lot of mornings before school, work, crazy hours, and even afterwards as well. So I know the dedication. I appreciate the dedication and the hard work to it. But yeah, in terms of where you guys take your association, I just wish you all the best with that, and just keep knocking down doors and keep being there for a community that clearly needs it within a sport that, you know, probably, you know, for whatever reason, just like cricket, hasn't been for them over the years. So I wish you all the best with that.
Definitely, you too. I'm excited to see what comes out from this year.
Yeah, don't worry. And like, if we can get the if we can get the cricket swim thing going, then then definitely.
Honestly, that would be so fun because especially like leisure centres as well, loads of them have the big fields out the back.
Yeah,
So you know
yeah,
it could actually
yeah.
happen.
We'll have a session actually at I don't know where you guys are based or your locations, but I know one of our locations, Streatham Leisure Centre, they've got a big swimming pool, they've got the sports pool, they've got the pitch across the road. You know, we got a lot of plans that we're doing
Oh,
there.
perfect.
Clapham as well. So a lot of our stuff is South London based at the moment, but we will be going pan London. So yeah, no, thanks for having me, and you know, Sports Shifts, thanks for having me on as well. You can find out more about us on Instagram at the Ace Program. And yeah, if you want to contact me anytime, info@aceprogram.com, and I'm happy to talk to you.
Yeah, and thank you as well for having me. So yeah, I'm everywhere, I think. So yeah, Black Swim Association mainly, just as the name says, on Instagram. And then if you ever want to contact me personally, I'm on Instagram at Omie, OMIE _Dale, DALE. So yeah, thank you.